You're welcome. This is OGTV Main News. I am Mojisola Shulaja. We begin with our top stories. Ogun State government reappraises 2022 medium-term sectoral strategy. Business owners groan as diesel price soars. Nigeria seeks collaboration with EU on agriculture. Russia resumes shelling of Ukraine after hospital attack. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending.
Coming up on the business segment of the news tonight, federal government cites lack of investment to meet OPEC oil production quota. Details of this and more when I return. My name is Okweyemi Adewun. Don't go away.
And on the sports segment of the news, UK government sanctions Roman Abramovich alt Chelsea sale. This and many more on the sports segment of the news. I am Emmanuel Dasaudu.
Once again, welcome to OGTV News. The price of automotive gas oil, also known as diesel, has hit 700 naira per litre in some filling stations, and this has affected business owners and manufacturers who solely rely on diesel to run their businesses. According to some of them, if care is not taken, so many businesses will fold up. Bumi Adigo visited some business premises to feel the pulse of the new diesel price as it affects business transactions. His report.
Consumer goods, retail outlets, small businesses, manufacturers, all are coming under pressure as the retail cost of diesel at various filling stations is now on the high side. Not done with the cost of premium motor spirit known as petrol. Diesel is adding its own to the burden, and this is really going to affect so many things, as most manufacturing companies in Nigeria rely on the product when the power supply is not available. The hospitality business is at the receiving end. To as owner of one of the hotels in Abeokuta is already feeling the heat, relying heavily on alternative source of generator for almost 18 hours daily.
If you are into production in Nigeria, it's a crime. It's like a crime because every angle you are facing so much challenges. Government must do something as early as possible. It's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. The leaders must wake up now to their responsibility. It doesn't take much to get things done in Nigeria without what it takes to do it. They should begin to see it and beginning to do it, or else.
The price of building materials has also risen within the short period of the change in diesel price, and real estate owners say this moment is not friendly for their business.
Granite used to be like 4,000 naira per ton, 3/4 down, but today that ton is about 7,000 naira, thereabouts. From 4,000 naira to 7,000 naira, per ton of a granite. That is too high.
A chartered accountant with an impressive track record in consulting says government needs to wake up from its slumber.
For us to address critical issues for our country. See, we are leaving important things unattended to, and that's the crisis that is breeding. You know that with what is happening now, there's going to be increase in unemployment.
At different filling stations visited, the price of diesel varies. While some sell for between 500 and 600 naira. Others have moved up to 700 naira. And this hike does not spare any business, as all depend on diesel for the running of their businesses. How long will this groaning last? Only time will tell. Bumi Adigun, OGTV News.
In furtherance of its commitment to equitable distribution of projects and its prioritization across board, the Ogun State Ministry of Budget and Planning is engaging ministries, departments, and agencies for the year 2022 medium-term sectoral strategy first quarter performance review meeting targeted at evaluating government's expected outcomes in view of changing needs and circumstances. The quarterly performance review meeting also seeks to provide MDAs with a systematic process for adapting to deal with emerging changes, while prioritizing policies and procedures that will help government plan for strategic and realistic budgets for viable expected benefits. Speaking at the meeting held at the conference room of the ministry, the Commissioner for Budget and Planning, Mr. Olaolu Olabinton, tasked the MDAs on the need to monitor projects, embark on evaluation of projects, as well as ensure a feed forward towards viable expected outcomes.
Towards the end of last year, we asked you to do a performance review, to remember, and certain things came out at that performance review. And at that time, we admonished, we said, please, you need to meet regularly. This is not an ad hoc committee, it should be standing. So you need to meet regularly, and I remember saying we needed to meet once a month.
The Commissioner, who maintained that the medium-term sectoral strategy, which is the third aspect of the expenditure framework, seeks to evaluate sectoral allocations of projects that will be beneficial and add value to people's livelihood across the state, agreeing that a project that cannot be evaluated is not a good plan. Also at the review meeting were the permanent secretaries and the Minister of Budget and Planning, Mrs. Olufumilayo Dada, Works and Infrastructure Engineer Oladimeji Yusuf, and Rural Development, Mr. Tunji Kanimodo. The Special Advisor to the Governor of Ogun State on Environment, Dr. Ola Oresanya, has expressed displeasure over the incessant noise pollution from various religious centers, recreation centers, hoteliers, and musicians, among others. Oresanya expressed government's displeasure during a stakeholders meeting with leaders of religious organizations, owners of recreation centers, hoteliers, musicians, among others, imploring members of the public found wanting to desist from activities of noise pollution. Oresanya therefore implored all concerned centers to reduce the noise to a permissible level that conforms with the existing law of the state, which is the 40-degree decibel noise level at night and 60-degree decibel during the day in residential areas, saying adequate compliance will ensure a conducive environment for the people. He said the meeting was aimed at sensitizing the owners of the centers and stakeholders on noise regulations protocols to avoid future sanctioning, while calling for their support towards ensuring compliance.
It's a control measure. A 1,000 kilometer race became with a step. Let's jointly take that step. In Ogun State, we are all agreed we want to reduce and control our noise. Yes.
Addressing the stakeholders, Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Dr. Toyin Taiwo, stated that noise pollution has severe influence on human mental and physical health, pointing out that noise pollution control is achievable if there is strict compliance. In his presentation, the Director, Environmental Health Management, Sanitarian Wemimo Oneko, highlighted the effect and measures to control noise pollution, adding that the World Health Organization, WHO, had stated that over 2.5 billion people will experience hearing loss caused by noise pollution across the world if proper measures were not put in place to curb it. There is need for more allocation from the Federation accounts to the local government for autonomy to be totally achieved. The Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs in Ogun State, Honorable Afolabi Afuakwe, stated this while responding to some of the opinions of people on the autonomy of the local government. Elizabeth Esson, who also spoke with stakeholders, reports that people's clamor for autonomy will also improve the internally generated revenue of the state. He reports.
Every attempt to grant autonomy to local governments has faced stout resistance from state governors who assert the right to exercise close oversight over them. The latest of such resistance was the governor's opposition to President Buhari's Executive Order 10 of 2020, which grants financial autonomy to local governments as well as state legislature and judiciary.
That the National Assembly, has made it a point of duty to say, okay, let the local governments be free. I think it's going to be of immense benefit to the people, because now we are not even feeling the importance of no reaction, nothing from the local government. What you see them do is just to stop bicycles, extort money from them. But whereas in a proper setting, the local government should take care of streets, they should take care of street lights, they should take care of environment, sanitation, markets, and generate money.
To a stakeholder, President, Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, NOGI, Ogun State Branch, Comrade Olatunji Ayuba, local government autonomy will bring local government administration closer to the grassroots and also give those at the grassroots sense of belonging.
By agitating for autonomy for local government, we are not asking for salary. We are not asking for special emolument for local government workers. All we are clamoring is good governance. All we are clamoring is economic development of the local government. All we are clamoring is security, improved security of our local government system. And by doing that, we want to say that all of these insecurity issues, banditry, kidnapping and so on will be a thing of the past.
Speaking on the part of the state governments, the Ogun State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Afolabi Afuakwe, autonomy to the local governments can only be achieved if more fund is released from the federal purse to the local governments.
Yes, they can develop idea. That also still takes some time, and part of what you need money to do, if you do this, you can get money, but you must get the money first. A whole lot of bank are shying away from giving loan to local government because of the ability to pay. Because we are having a very serious, in Ogun State, I can say it for free. Even just this last week, governor still gave us grant of almost 600 million for local government projects. If they are totally independent, because governors see it's not that they are not autonomous, but if the government fails to pay salary in Ogun State, they will not mention chairman of local government. They will mention the Abeokuta.
To stakeholders, there is need for adequate autonomy, hard work rather than verbal institutionalization, democratic consolidation, reduced corruption, increased discipline, and application of the rule of law. Elizabeth Esson, OGTV News.
And still in the news, 30,000 Boko Haram insurgents surrendered in the northeast. Join us for details shortly. You're still watching the OGTV main news. Ogun State House of Assembly has commended Governor Dapo Abiodun for the fatherly role played in the selection of the new Orimolusi of Ijebu-Igbo, Oba Lawrence Adebajo, which allowed the kingmakers to do the needful in the selection of the monarch. The Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, gave the commendation while reacting to the submission of member representing Ijebu North 1 State Constituency, Honorable Sylvester Abiodun, who spoke under personal explanation on the genuine role played by Governor Abiodun in the selection of the traditional ruler. Kola Wolosho's report is presented in this package.
On the 22nd day of February 2022, Ijebu-Igbo, the headquarters of Ijebu North local government, went agog as the people of the town witnessed the installation of the new Orimolusi, Oba Lawrence Adebajo, after 28 years of interregnum. Speaking under personal explanation at the plenary, member representing Ijebu North 1 State Constituency, Honorable Sylvester Abiodun, applauded the current administration in the state led by Prince Dapo Abiodun for the role he played in the selection and installation of the new traditional ruler. The lawmaker explained that Governor Dapo Abiodun had played the role of a father, which had allowed the kingmakers to do the needful in the selection of the monarch. The lawmaker stated that due process was followed during the process, adding that if the process had been politicized, there would have been issues.
I want to state here categorically that there was no outer of interference from the executive, and it is very, very rare in the history of Nigeria and Yoruba land in particular. So for this reason, I have been directed by the people of Ijebu to say a very, very big thank you to our amiable governor.
In his submission, Speaker Olakunle Oluomo congratulated the people of Ijebu-Igbo on the successful coronation of the new traditional ruler and also appreciated Governor Dapo Abiodun for his non-interference during the selection process of the new Orimolusi of Ijebu-Igbo. Oluomo urged the new monarch to see himself as the father of all, saying that he should bring everyone together during his reign.
I want to congratulate the KBC and the entire people of Ijebu-Igbo and wish the new KBC a very, very successful term of office. And we appreciate our governor for playing the role of a very, very responsible governor who wants things to be done properly in all areas of the state. Thank the governor and the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs for the role they have played. Once again, I congratulate all of you.
The Speaker equally enjoined the traditional ruler to use his wealth of experience to foster unity and attract more development to Ijebu-Igbo.
Ahead of the 2023 general elections, the organized labor has vowed to form an alliance with any pro-workers political party or organization in order to rescue the country, which it said was sailing dangerously adrift. The organized labor said it would no longer tolerate anti-people policies, fuel scarcity, unemployment, and insecurity, adding that Nigerians are entitled to decent work, good governance, and social and economic. It further said that comparatively, the present minimum wage of 30,000 naira, which amounts to a mere 1,000 naira per day for the workers, is not anywhere near what is being spent in feeding a prisoner in the country, adding that the organized labor does not oppose the welfare of the prisoners. This is as the former chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Atahiru Jega, has warned workers that the time of narrowly believing that their interests can only be advanced through collective bargaining while they stay aloof and allow ruffians and crooks occupy and dominate the political and governance spaces through manipulation of the electoral process was over. These were some of the positions taken by labor leaders and activists at a political roundtable on sustainable democracy in Nigeria, organized by the Trade Union Congress, TUC of Nigeria in Abuja, with the theme, the role of organized labor in promoting participatory democracy and good governance in Nigeria, perspectives on 2023 general elections. Speaking at the conference, President of TUC, Comrade Quadri Olaleye, said Nigerian workers have resolved to stop being onlookers while politicians continue to destroy Nigeria's economy. Community leaders in Ipokia have called for calm over the court ruling on the traditional ruler of the town, Oba Yisa Adeniyi Olaniyan, the Onipokia of Ipokia. The leaders urged the people of the town to continue to live in peace and harmony, assuring them the matter will be resolved amicably. This was at a community briefing attended by people of the town and Council of Elders. Benga Adekoya's report is presented in this package.
The community briefing was held at the palace of Onipokia of Ipokia, Oba Yisa Adeniyi Olaniyan, whose reign has been challenged by a court ruling. Basharun of Ipokia, who is also secretary, Ipokia Elders Council, led other members of the council to appeal to the Ogun State government to wade into the matter, just as they called for peace and harmony in the community.
I tell you all to continue to ensure that this role in our community, as we together work as a country, we come to the base of the business project in the value of the
We are peaceful here and we do not encourage violence. If not, what you see here is telling you how strong the support for the KBC is. If we had wanted to cause problem, just about 1% of our people talking nonsense, there could have been no conflagration here in Ipokia. So we are saying that the government should look into it.
We cannot do anything that is against the legal process. So our lawyers, our team of lawyers, we have discussed and they are going to file an appeal within the 14 days.
They affirmed that the reigning Onipokia of Ipokia was elected with due process before its installation over a year ago, urging the people to remain law-abiding. The leaders also visited some historic places such as Ojukpopo and Ojualale to seek the intervention of their ancestors over the Obaship rift.
Area community development committees serve as umbrella for various community development associations which are created for ameliorating poverty as well as wealth creation in the society. Success Itori Area Community Development Committee is a newly formed area community development committee which was presented its certificate of registration by the Ogun State Commissioner for Community Development and Cooperatives, Ganiyu Hamzat. Margaret Okunola reports.
The need for the creation of more cooperative societies to serve as umbrella for various community development associations is of great importance to socio-economic and community-related issues. Residents of Oluke-Orile in Ewekoro local government, as well as members of community development associations in the area, came out for the official inauguration and presentation of certificate of registration to Success Itori Area Community Development Committee.
In the name of the Father, of the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
The State Commissioner for Community Development and Cooperatives, Ganiyu Hamzat, who was represented by the Director of Community Development, Mr. Olanrewaju Fayoyin, urged communities to partner with the government by building formidable associations.
I now employ them to put in more effort to achieve this greatness, the success their name implies. And we all know that government alone cannot do this thing. That's why we have community organizations partnering in government.
Community leaders and other dignitaries present advised the newly inaugurated Area Community Development Committee to work towards boosting the socio-economic welfare of their area.
We encourage them to work hard. They have been inaugurated, they have been given the baton, and it's their time, and they have to work hard so that good report shall come from their efforts.
What we do is to complement government efforts. They should continue to promote that spirit of community development.
The chairman, Success Itori Area Community Development Committee, Alhaji Onodimoku Balogun, on behalf of other executive members, said they are fully ready for the demands of their offices. There was also inauguration of matron for the smooth running of the newly inaugurated Area Community Committee. Margaret Okunola, OGTV News.
Music is the food of love, and engaging school students with this extracurricular activity will help sharpen their mindset for good. As an idle hand is the devil's workshop. This was the submission of Comrade Akim Lasisi, the chairman, Academic Staff Union of Secondary Schools, ASUS, Ogun State Chapter, at the grand finale of the maiden edition of the musical competition organized by Music Teachers Association of Nigeria, Ogun State Chapter at Abeokuta Grammar School, Idiaba, Abeokuta. Ronke Adeyemi reports.
Rhymes, sounds, melody, rhythm, and harmony are the essential components of music. But music can be much more, as a world without music may feel grey. In order to inculcate this in the mind of students, Music Teachers Association of Nigeria, Ogun State Chapter, in collaboration with the State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, organized a musical competition for secondary school students in the state. In their addresses, dignitaries describe music as therapeutic in nature and will help in motivating students.
We have talents in our students. And that is the main reason why I appreciate our coaching for this program, who are the members of the Music Teachers Association of Nigeria.
We are on a good track if we can evaluate music. If music can be in place, we all know that our total delay is low.
This is one of the subjects that are neglected. It's one of the subjects that have been marginalized. But we thank God that today we have proved them wrong, that music is life.
For the grand finale, competition was quite fierce as 12 schools across the state, private and public, sang different renditions of Nigeria Edide and the state anthem, Ishaya, of which Abeokuta Grammar School came first, Reverend Kuti Memorial Grammar School second, and African Church Grammar School came third. Certificates of participation were presented to participants and prizes given to winners. Ronke Adeyemi, OGTV News.
The Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, has said that Nigeria and the European Union will strengthen bilateral ties, especially in the area of agriculture and research findings. Dr. Onu stated this on Thursday in his office when the ambassador to the European Union, Ambassador Samuel Isopi, paid him a courtesy visit. He said that Nigeria wants to be an industrialized nation, become self-reliant so as to feed its large population, create jobs and reduce poverty to the barest minimum. He further said that there are other areas in science, technology and innovation that he believes will be of mutual benefit to both parties, adding that the nation is prepared to work with the European Union to make sure the desired objective is realized. The minister said that as a nation, Nigeria needs to solve some problems using science, technology, and innovation in the areas of agriculture, education, and security. Earlier, the ambassador to the European Union said that they are interested in working with Nigeria in the area of science, technology, and innovation, as it is a pillar for sustainable development. Annually, every second Thursday in the month of March is set as a World Kidney Day as a global health awareness campaign which focuses on educating people about kidney disease. This year's celebration, which falls on the 10th of March, has as the theme Kidney Health for All, with the campaign focusing on bridging gaps to improve kidney health. The World Kidney Day, which was first celebrated in 2006, aims to raise awareness among people who have kidney-related illnesses, along with the treatment to make. Kidney is a vital organ in the body that filters the blood and helps in passing waste as urine. Dr. Shola Adebisi, a consultant at the Federal Medical Center, Idiaba, Abeokuta, urged people to take proper care of their health, as kidney disease is becoming a burden that can as well be described as an epidemic.
A lot of these things being taken nowadays, all these herbal concoctions, herbal remedies, all this alcohol that they are doing inside bottles now, some of them are not safe because they contain a lot of toxic materials to the kidney. Their producers are doing it for commercial purposes. They just want to sell. So they put a lot of stimulants there that can eventually damage the kidney. People should desist from habits like smoking cigarettes, smoking cannabis, taking heroin and cocaine. All these things actually damage their kidney. And of course, number one cause of kidney disease is hypertension. People should endeavor to manage the hypertension.
Dr. Adebisi also spoke further on the need to educate the on the risk factors of kidney disease.
On the stage they present. If they present early, we usually manage them, and oftentimes we are able, through the grace of God, to reverse that kidney dysfunction. But in chronic or end-stage diseases, they have the hope of having dialysis, which at least can be a salvage dialysis. And of course, the final advocacy is for them to have a kidney transplant. It has been found out that it's even cheaper to have a kidney transplant than having a dialysis for a whole 1 year.
The best nutrition to prevent kidney disease, according to him, are cabbage, fish, olive oil, sweet potatoes, and apple. The House of Representatives has summoned the Group Managing Director, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, and the Director General, Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Nuhu Musa, to a meeting over the current scarcity of Jet A1, also known as aviation fuel. The Deputy Speaker of the House, Ahmed Wase, convened the meeting based on a motion of urgent public importance moved by the Chairman, House Committee on Aviation, Nolim Naji, on the plenary on Wednesday. The motion was titled Urgent Need to Investigate the Sudden Scarcity and High Cost of Aviation Fuel, which has created an existential threat to airline operations and requires immediate intervention by the federal government. It also resolved to direct the oil marketers to make Jet A1 immediately available to airlines and discontinue the policy of upfront cash payments by airlines in the interim. Wase, who presided over the session, consequently called for a meeting with the GMD of the NNPC and the DG of NCAA. Others to appear before the House include Jet A1 marketers and airline operators. The House of Representatives has, in line with the policy of ease of doing business, commenced legislative consideration to enhance performance of the capital market. A bill to establish Chartered Institutes of Security and Investment and increasing investors' confidence has passed second reading. The bill seeks to, among other things, expand the scope of the charter and enable holding to financial transactions. The old act was enacted 30 years ago. A member of the House of Representatives, Olufemi Adebanjo, on Thursday protested against the wearing of face masks in the chamber, saying it has adverse health implications. According to Adebanjo, the COVID-19 pandemic is over. The lawmaker, who is representing Alimosho Federal Constituency in Lagos State, raised a point of order concerning privilege to say that members no longer obey the COVID-19 protocols and the House should therefore suspend wearing of masks in the chamber. Adebanjo emphasized that the masking has been a very painful one and that the earlier the better if rule is relaxed. It continued that the mask affects respiratory system and lungs. The Deputy Speaker of the House, Ahmed Wase, who presided over the session, stated that the lawmakers were bound to obey the safety protocols imposed by the federal government, especially through the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, established by an act promulgated by the National Assembly. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, has said over 30,000 Boko Haram ISWAP insurgents and their families have so far surrendered in the northeast. This was even as he said threats of the separatists in the southeast and south-south have reduced in traction. Mustafa disclosed this during the stakeholders' engagement on the current security challenges facing the northwest geopolitical zone held in Kaduna on Thursday. According to him, approval was granted for the recruitment of 10,000 police personnel for 3 consecutive years, while their salaries have been upwardly reviewed to boost their morale. In the maritime domain, Mustafa alluded that the waters are now calm. The Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, in his welcome address, Samuel Aruwan, has said the state government have awakened the security consciousness of its citizens by making sure they realize that bandits do not care about religion or ethnicity. To this end, he proceeded that state government has consistently stated that all citizens must rather recourse to the law in the face of grievance or injury. Similarly, the Nigeria Defense Headquarters has revealed that troops of the Nigerian military in operations Adenkai and Adarindaji have neutralized 108 terrorists in the northwest of the country. Acting Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Bernard Unyoko, made the disclosure in Abuja during the bi-weekly press briefing of various activities of Nigerian military and other security agencies' operations across the country. Unyoko said the aggressive onslaught that was recorded between 24th February to 10th March 2022 by the troops of Adenkai resulted to the recovery of 4 anti-craft guns, 2,000 rounds of 12.7 millimeters ammunition, 10 bicycles, an explosive improvised explosive device truck mounted with 122 artillery gun, 4 AK-47 rifles, while 174 Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists surrendered to troops. He noted that troops of Operation Hadarindaji also exploited the area and recovered 574 rustled cattle, 22 motorcycles, 3 AK-47 rifles, and 21 rounds of ammunition.
Troops of Operation Hadarindaji on clearance patrol on 1st March in Bakindute and Gadawandaji camp and Burunkoza village in Kankara local government area in Katsina State encountered terrorists. Following artillery bombardment from ground troops and close air support from the air component, neutralized some terrorists, forced the rest to flee. Troops exploited the area and recovered over 574 cattle, 22 motorcycles, 3 AK-47 rifles, and 21 rounds of 7.62 millimeter ammunition.
Other operations mentioned was Operation Delta Save, Delta Evan, Well Stroke, Delta Stroke, where troops discovered and destroyed illegal refining sites, cooking ovens, receivers, coolants, storage metal tanks, polythene bags, boilers, pumping machines, among others. The Nigeria Customs Service Federal Operations Unit Zone C intercepted unregistered pharmaceutical products, including tramadol, as well as other contraband goods with a duty-paid value of 529 million naira between January 1 and February 28, 2022. According to a statement signed on Thursday by the spokesman of the unit, Jerry Atta, the FOU C controller, Mr. Ali Ibrahim, said this while showcasing the seized items in Owerri. Ibrahim added that 6 suspects were arrested during the period under review, adding that they had been granted administrative bail. It's now time to move to the business news segment with Opayemi Adewumi.
It's good to have you join us on the business segment of the news. The federal government said its inability to meet the oil production quota allocated to Nigeria by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries was due to the lack of investments in the oil and gas sector of the economy. It said the lack of investments were due to the recent spate of exits by international oil companies such as Shell and ExxonMobil from Nigeria oil and gas sector. Nigerian OPEC quota is pegged at about 1.8 million barrels per day, but in the last few years, the country has struggled between 1.3 and 1.4 million barrels per day. Speaking at the ongoing Sarah Week in Houston, Texas, the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Chief Timothy Silva, said the speed which the IOCs were withdrawing investments in hydrocarbon exploitation have contributed significantly to Nigerians' inability to meet its OPEC targets. The House of Representatives has urged the federal government to resuscitate the urban mass transit scheme in the country to make transportation affordable and accessible as a social right to all Nigerians. It mandated the Committee on Land Transport to liaise with relevant stakeholders with a view to establishing policy framework that would further improve the transportation sector and report back within 6 weeks for further legislative actions. These resolutions followed the adoption of a motion by Aneka Umanu from Akwa Ibom State that noted that in 1989, the urban mass transit scheme was established by the federal government to ameliorate transportation challenges in Nigeria. He also noted that the objective of the scheme were to moderate the national urban transit scheme, alleviate the problems of urban commuters and the general masses, as well as lay the foundation for organized mass transit in Nigeria. The Nigerian Economic Summit Group has called for sectorial reforms in manufacturing, trade, education, health, and ICT to champion industrialization, strengthen the value chain, and promote inclusive growth in Nigeria. NESG's Chief Executive Officer, Laoye Jayola, stated this in Abuja at a workshop by the African Economic Research Consortium and the NESG team's sectorial development, assessing the conditions that drive youth unemployment in key sectors of the Nigerian economy. Represented by Research and Chief Economist, NESG Dr. Olusegun Omishakin Jayola said the body would continue to champion economic growth in Nigeria, explaining that the event was aimed at disseminating key findings on drivers of unemployment and providing a platform to deliberate and share perspectives towards improving youth unemployment in Nigeria, citing research from the National Bureau of Statistics that 63% of Nigerians between the ages of 13 and 34 are underemployed or unemployed. He regretted that youth unemployment has resulted in militancy, kidnapping, political thuggery, armed robbery, prostitution, and other vices. Telecommunication companies may delay the commercial rollout of fifth-generation technology due to the weak purchasing power of their customers as a result of inflation. In a panel section during the African ST Conference 2022, the Nigerian Communications Commission disclosed that Nigerians might have to buy new devices in order to be able to enjoy 5G service or use alternate broadband devices. The NCC team that spoke during the panel section said most devices present in the nation do not have 5G capabilities. They added that in 2 years, there would be 1 billion 5G devices in the world. According to GSMA, the industry organization that represents the global interest of mobile network operators, most people in Nigeria and other sub-Saharan African countries spend 100% of their income on entry-level internet-enabled handsets. Nigerian equities market expectedly maintained positive close by 0.16% on Thursday, March 10, thereby pushing up the stock market's benchmark performance indicator. Nigerian Exchange Limited All-Share Index increased from preceding day low of 47,287.09 points to to 47,363.98 points. Likewise, the value of Nigerians' listed stock increased by about 41 billion naira from preceding day's low of 25.485 trillion naira to 25.526 trillion naira in 4,672 deals. Investors exchanged over 261 million units valued at 4.477 billion naira. And that brings us to the end of the business segment of the news. We'll now go back to Mojisola Sholaja for the rest of the news.
On the world today, Libya has opened a center for migrants on the airport road in Tripoli. Prime Minister Abdulhamid Al-Daibeh stressed that it was imperative to take up immigrants and provide them with appropriate conditions. On Ukraine-Russia war, no ceasefire agreed between the foreign countries, ministers of both countries, at a meeting held in Turkey amid international condemnation of the attack on a maternity hospital in Mariupol. Details are in this package by Odrayo Oreyen.
Libya has opened a center for migrants on the airport road in Tripoli. Prime Minister Abdulhamid, in his opening speech, stressed that it was imperative to take care of immigrants and provide them with appropriate conditions. A statement from the Prime Minister